Oh, I'm live. That's wild. Okay, so just an FYI, I am getting used to this whole process, and actually, I should have put this on Facebook just in case. I hate Facebook. Facebook sucks. I want you to pay for everything, even if you're just, poor and trying to share what you know with other people. My videos are extremely unprofessional. I do not put on makeup. I do not care what I look like. And I think I'm beautiful, despite what you may think. Losing 200 pounds, that was a big deal. Uno momento. I'm just going to go. Join me, baby. Of course, everybody's probably getting ready for work. I hope this thing works. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'll have to Google this once I get my work done. Oh shit, I'm not supposed to play music. Is it recording? I'm not recording, am I? Oh, yeah, I guess I am. Turn off the music. Okay. Okay. I am really annoyed that I have to pay money to use music, because I like music. Post. Okay, well, whatever. It'll post. YouTube, there you are. Okay, I don't expect anybody to watch this. I'm basically talking to myself, which is fine with me. I am okay today. Today is almost 2 weeks. I mean, I've had a couple of days that were challenging, but I've had almost 2 weeks of being able to get up. I mean, yesterday I got up at like 6, which was very late for me, and actually today it was like 5, which is it's pretty good for me, at least. 5 a.m. is better than 3:30. I mean, I was up at 3:30, but then I went back and I was able to sleep a little bit more. So 5 a.m. is definitely better than 3:30. So I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about, and for some reason, I don't believe. Oh, wait, dude, this needs to be deleted. Delete. That's right, bitches. I am totally not professional at all, man, at all. Can't remember what it was. I have a really bad memory. See, okay, how do you sleep? Let's chat. I don't believe that's what I wanted that to say. What the fuck? I totally, okay, yeah, the how do you sleep thing, that wasn't a part of what I wrote to get started. So I'm just gonna say fuck it. I'm just gonna talk. So a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna try to write them down before I lose them, because that happens very quickly. Memory loss. All right, I'll have to update the about when I'm done, but let's see. Levels of healing, friendships, understanding the point of view of survivors, and understanding the POV of supporters. Okay, not too difficult. This is actually less intimidating without any viewers. Hi. Okay, so if you don't know who I am Phoenix Page. I chose that name and I believe that I live up to it because I have been reborn many times from the ashes. The little embers that were left behind, and this reborn. I knew. Every time I fall down, I learn something new, basically. That's what it's about. And I fall down a lot. I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to meet other people who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, major depressive disorder. If you are an adult survivor of childhood trauma and abuse, then that's who I'm trying to reach out to, is people of, childhood trauma and abuse, as well as people who support those with childhood trauma and abuse. I almost lost that little line of thought there. So, as you can see, I didn't shower again. I don't know what it is. It's just like, it's easier for me to get up, make coffee, come downstairs, take my pills, and work until I can't work no more. I'll probably have to deal with that at some point. I imagine it all comes and kicks you in the ass. Healing's a bitch, and if anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you, or they have forgotten that healing is a bitch. What do you do when everything seems at its darkest? I'm just curious. Do you have a plan? Do you have a process? Not a good smoker. THC, I love you. Okay, let's do this so I can get on with my day. Every night for my entire life, that I can recall, I've had nightmares. Okay, so I do not sleep well. Sometimes I have to take medicine to help me fall asleep, but even that doesn't really keep me asleep. However, since I started eating a little bit throughout the day, my digestive system is starting to get a little bit better. I hope. I haven't thrown up in a while, and it doesn't feel like I'm trying to give birth out my ass when I go to the bathroom. It's like my body was just struggling to get some sort of nutrition when I wasn't eating. And I still don't want to eat, except at night when I can like pig out on candy. And it's like, hey, dumbass, you're diabetic. Do not do that anymore. And so, I'm trying to work out on the elliptical. I'm trying to do things around the house, but most importantly, I'm working. And it feels good. I miss it, but I also need to define myself differently. I don't know about you, but the whole healing journey itself, the process, I learn as I go along. The books I've read, the articles I've read, it doesn't really necessarily help other than give me more information to understand myself better, to understand the way I perceive the world better. And right now, I have no friends, potential beginning friendships, but no friends. Everybody gone. Because one of the first things you're going to find out when you start healing is that I mentioned it was hard as fuck, right? Okay, so the other thing is that you're gonna hopefully learn a hell of a lot more about life, about your life, about other people's lives, how to see deeper and interpret what you're seeing. So you're not just seeing deeper into the world, into other people, but you're seeing deeper into yourself. One of the biggest things that I tell people is do not lie. Now, people may take this differently. I know I did in the beginning. I thought I wasn't lying, but I was lying to myself, and it was really fascinating. I thought that I knew what I was talking about. I thought I knew what I was doing, but in fact, that is not correct. Every time I fall down, I learn from it. Every time someone is cruel to me, I learn from it. And I realize that it speaks more about the person who's being cruel than it is about the person that they are being cruel to. See, how you behave, what you say, that's your responsibility. Remember that, because it is the most important lesson that you can learn, as far as I'm concerned. You are responsible for the things you say. You are responsible for the things you do. It does not matter how angry you get. It does not matter the abuse that you were put through. None of it matters. You're responsible for what comes out of your mouth. If you get physical, psychologically abusive, verbally abusive, any of those things, right? I know when I was a kid, I was that way because I just wanted people to feel the pain that I was feeling. I still can't believe Mom kept me. She's been amazing through this whole journey. I'm really fortunate. And I hope that through what I learn, you will learn. And you will educate yourself to your own situation. And you will find your way to whatever healing means to you. Because it's different for everybody. The one thing that's true, although healing is different for everybody, some of the same theories and ideas are quite valid. I used to think they weren't, like mindfulness and trying to change the way that you perceive something, the way that you see something, and trying to see deeper into the hurt of others. Good good example of that is an ex-friend I had who was actually not a very nice person, but I was so desperate to have friends that I overlooked it, and I tried to give him more leeway because of his past, and I tried to bend over backwards to make things easy and comfortable and blah, blah, blah. And he turned out to be a really mean, really bad person. I mean, he was mean to my mom, and that's just, thankfully, my family's like, yeah, we're glad he's gone. And it's just a learning experience, right? Because you want to talk about having friends. For us, it's hard. I mean, let's face it, we're fucked up. I have moments where I cannot, like, I made plans with a potential friend to go to the pool to go swimming. I could not do it. I was feeling very I'm not sure how to say this. Triggered, I guess, or uncomfortable. The thought of being around other people, the thought of being vulnerable, in my tank top and shorts. All my confidence has sort of slipped away a little bit. Not all of it, but some of it. And so I'm waiting until I get that back. I've come a fucking long way, people. I've come a long way, and I really hope that this journey will help me help others. I'm here. I'm human. I was beaten. I was sexually abused. I was verbally abused, psychologically abused for 11 straight years of my life. There was no escape. I had Stockholm syndrome with Biomom. I didn't know what was real, what wasn't real, like what was supposed to be, what wasn't. I mean, it's all I knew, that pain. It's all I knew. Then the rage came. Now, the rage is important because, one, we have to control how we respond to it, but two, we have to acknowledge it. We have to recognize it, and we have to dig deep into it. That's if you want to find your way to a happier life. It's possible. I promise you that. It just takes a long time. And it takes support, which is why I'm trying to support others and help others so that they can see what the journey is like. And I'll tell you, if you're thinking about going on it, you need to recognize a couple of things. One, hard as fuck. Two, defining healing for yourself. This is not something that, at least none of the books that I've read, none of the articles that I've read have talked about, but you need to define healing for yourself. And actually, that is a really good article and something I can put in my masterclass that I'm making. So, okay, define healing. I have a transcriber so that everything that I say will be like right. It's right there. And and that helps me when I forget where I'm at. I should actually use it for every single time I speak. It should be on all the time. But I thought I knew what healing meant. I thought I knew what was wrong with me. I was wrong to a certain extent, but we did the best we could back then. We didn't have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. We had, you're a bad kid. Nobody's going to love you. You're never going to be able to love anyone. You suck. You're worthless. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Why can't you be like your sister? Why can't you be better? Why are you so bad? Why can't you be like everybody else? Oh my God, if you had lived up to your potential. Okay, if you are somebody who's ever said any of those words, I would like you to just go in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and just fucking bitch slap yourself a few times. Because fuck, that's wrong. Everybody is different. And what happened to them, how they responded to them. And there are so many variables that have to do with the whole process of healing, the type of healing that you do. And when you do this, you will actually find out how traumatized you are, because what have we been doing our whole lives so that we could get by? We have been pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. And then we take our anger and our rage and we take it out on other people who don't deserve it. And we think we have the right to do that just because we have been traumatized, right? If you use PTSD, CPTSD, MDD, depression, I mean, if you use that as a reason to hurt others, you fail at life. But that's okay, because you can take it again. You can take the test again, and you can learn and grow from every experience that you have. Sometimes with medication, we have to get over a lot of distrust. When I was first adopted, I looked up the medications that BioMom had been on. This was before I was taking medication for help. Before, sorry, Peter, I love you, but you know, you were new. Before complex post-traumatic stress disorder was a thing, right? This is what people don't seem to understand. Post-traumatic stress disorder, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, two very different things, but two very similar things, okay? Now, post-traumatic stress disorder that relies on one thing, maybe two, you know, but it's an experience that you have. You're in an explosion, you're raped, beaten, abused, whatever, you know. Post-traumatic stress disorder has been around for a little while. And if you're interested in learning more about that, pick up the book, The Body Tells the Body Tells the Score. Body something the score. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay. Wow. I am begging for patron help. Okay. Thought I had it somewhere. I must not post it to the top. I don't know. It's Vonder Hessel something or Kesselberger, Vonder Kesselberger. And I believe it's called The Body Keeps the Score. Just Google score it. Just Google it. You'll find it. That book is really interesting because it talks about the origins of understanding post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Which was once called combat fatigue. Understand something. Just because we now have names and explanations for these things that we did not before, does not mean that that shit did not exist, right? The difference is that we are now allowing ourselves to be human. And we are starting to recognize what being human means. Our history is filled with so much shit. And we forget it every generation and think, "Ooh, we're learning something new." But with this is something that has been around as long as human beings have been around. Children have always been abused. People in pain have always been told to suck it up, push it down. People who didn't conform have always been thrown out of the group. It's because human beings, not only are we extremely fragile, emotionally, psychologically, physically, we're so fucking strong. And we're capable of so much. Back when children were working in factories, might still be happening, what do I know? But back when children were working in factories, they were expected to bring home money, not complain, right? That kind of anger, that kind of trauma, that kind of pushing it back, it just leads to more propagation of the abuse. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. As human beings, we are so flawed. And if we can accept that, we can move forward. We try to hurt each other. I mean, I remember reading about trolls that went after this beautiful, beautiful woman who had an illness that made her so skinny that no matter how much she ate, she could not put on weight. She was skin and bones, right? And these trolls would go on thinking that they have the right to be cruel. Now, I don't know what is going on with these people who want to be cruel, who want to try and hurt people who are already suffering. Do you think that that person does that on purpose? Do you think that that person chose to biologically be built that way? Do you think the adult survivors of childhood trauma and abuse who stayed at the emotional age of the severe trauma their whole life, unable to take care of themselves, unable to see past being a child, and yet they're made fun of because they're different? Look, you can make fun of people all you want, but if you're not truthful with yourself, you will never become enlightened. And I think enlightenment, and I'm not talking religion and cults and shit like that. I'm talking about internal enlightenment. See, this life is short as fuck. We didn't ask for it. You know what? Actually, I also want to do something on the human condition. I think would actually be a good way to remind me. Because I think it's really quite fascinating. And the thing about a lot of these people is that they're angry. They're hurt, they're sad, they're lonely. And they think that if you're different, which they probably are themselves, but if you are different, then you deserve all the shit that's heaped on you just because you put yourself out there for other people, you know. And we end up focusing on that negativity, right? Thinking, is this affecting us? Because depending upon where you are in your healing process, I can tell you right now, it's a long way to go. A lot of work you got to do. But the biggest thing is you have to stop lying to yourself and you have to stop lying to others. There's no reason to be ashamed. There's no reason to be ashamed of pain, of anger, of rage, of hurt, of grief. You are not responsible for what other people do to you, but you are responsible for what you do to other people. And I think I'm actually going to look up the anatomy of a troll, do some research. I'm going to stop using the term troll because I think these are people who are suffering. So anatomy. So what I want to do is get into why do we take pleasure in the suffering of others when we are suffering. Now, my personal experience when I was adopted, I'm surprised my mother didn't get rid of me right away. My mom is fucking amazing. This woman adopted me. She chose me. Older kids don't get adopted that often. As a matter of fact, let's put that statistic on the website. Oh, I will also put links to adoption areas, centers, and information. Oh, I'm on fire. Anyways, let's get back to these so-called trolls. You know, I used to get so angry at them because I was at the beginning of my healing process and I didn't know shit. And I couldn't empathize with these people because, you know, they triggered me. This was back before I really understood the triggers, and they triggered me because they were saying things that abusive people had said in the past. But the thing is, these people don't know you. They're not in your life. So block them if if you can't have a good conversation, because some people, they go online for fight. Maybe their boss is a dick or a bitch. And I'm not talking the good kind of bitch. I'm talking about the mean as fuck bitch. Maybe they're abused. Maybe they've been abused. Maybe they live in their parents' basement and they have no money and they're angry. Maybe they're overweight and they hate themselves. It's okay. Because you see, everybody has a reason for everything. Doesn't excuse anything. But it does help explain. And if someone is willing and desiring of change, it will help you understand yourself better. There are so many ways of going about the healing process. Anything that you do, I would suggest that you research first, not just the PTSD part of it, but the complex. Because you see, healing for complex post-traumatic stress disorder is not the same as healing for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, had 9/11 been my only trauma in life, right, the only thing I would have to do is get that PTSD under control. And a good way to do that was what I used to do, and that was basically force myself to get on the subway, force myself to get on a bus when I couldn't get on the subway anymore. And then force myself to walk or take a cab when I couldn't get on a fucking bus anymore. You lose all sense of security and control. We all deal with trauma differently. I know when I was a kid, I wanted people to feel my pain because it wasn't fair that I was feeling it. I wanted them to suffer like I did. But that's not the way to go about this. See, what happened before, it matters, but it doesn't really matter. It matters in the sense of educating yourself and understanding yourself better, as well as understanding other people better. But the people, the things, the only reason to focus on that shit is to deal with it, find ways to deal with it, find ways to deal with the triggers so that you can eventually get to a point where you're understanding that someone's coming from a place. Let me try that again. Someone is coming from a place of pain. We're so quick when we're startled, scared, angry, frustrated to take out all of that on other people. And, you know, thing is, it's so stupid and it's so avoidable. But people are afraid to fight because it hurts so much, because it's so painful. They lash out. I've done that. And I'll tell you, there is a point where saying I'm sorry is no longer okay, because I'm sorry are words, and words are hollow. Sure, you may be sorry right then for your reactions, but you're not sorry. Because if you were really sorry, you would be able to stop, learn from it, educate yourself on it, and try to be who you want to be as a human being. If you want to be a complete asshole and hurt people, it's on you. You know, that's your choice. If you want to sit there and feel sorry for yourself and not heal because it just, it hurts, and you want other people to suffer, but they don't. You want your friends to like you, but how can they when you spew hate and cruelty? See, survivors are interesting. We're people who have gone through something that is not usual. It's actually more usual than you think, but let's just go with it's not usual. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel pain. But you need to channel it into a more positive type of experience. And that's up to you. That's on you. Are you happy with your life? If you are truly, genuinely happy and you're not denying yourself the truth, you can look inside of yourself and be completely open and honest with who you are, what you have experienced, what was done to you. It's not what's wrong with you. It's what was done to you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're a human being who's experiencing these disorders, these illnesses, because people have been cruel to you and hurt you and beat you and abused you, made fun of you, made you feel like you were less than everybody else. It's lies, by the way. It's not true. But you have to determine that for yourself. You know, there's so many things that I want to talk about, but I'm going to stop it here because I'm already at like 40 minutes. I doubt anyone's going to watch that much. But if you did, thank you. And I hope you become a part of the community. Just remember, please, that you're a human being. It's okay to feel anything you feel. You're valid. But you need to remember, guys, that you are also responsible for how you treat other human beings. And you can say, no, I'm not. You know, I have the right. I was abused, blah, blah, blah. No. You do not have the right. I do not have the right. And apologies are words. Show the change. Learn to be that change inside of you and learn to take responsibility. Analyze it. What was the trigger? Why did you feel what you felt? How could you avoid it in the future? How can you change it? This shit takes years, guys. You have to be willing to commit, because I tell you, you open Pandora's box, that motherfucker is not going to close again. You make those demons yours. They belong to you. The why of it, the how of it, right? It's so easy to say, heal thyself. It's not how it works. It's education, guys. It's understanding. It's learning to understand what taking accountability and responsibility is. And it's learning to recognize that by doing so, you empower yourself to be a person who does not take it out on other people and who sees so much more into themselves that they can see their beauty. Doesn't matter what you look like. That's society. Fuck society. This is your life. Whatever your belief system is, unless you're a fanatic, this is your life, guys. And it sucked, right? Well, there is a time to take responsibility when you're ready. Understand that you are the one who is responsible for how you treat other human beings, and that they are not the ones that you need to try to hurt. You don't need to try to hurt anyone. You want to make sure that other people feel what you feel. You want them to be punished, but that's not going to happen. And you will never fucking be who you once were, guys. You're never going to be what you could have been, what you would have been. Every motherfucking beginning starts with another beginning's end. Lyric, forgot which song, but I fucking love it. Okay? Because it's true. Every beginning starts with another beginning's end. I love that. And it's so true. And when you're ready to fight against your ignorance, when you're ready to take responsibility for your actions, for your words, that's when you're going to be in a hell of a better place to focus on healing. But you see, nobody's going to come and hold your hand. It's not how it works. I waited years for that shit. And you can be as passive aggressive as you want to try and make other people feel what you feel. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the way to do it. This is my meat suit. I will carry this meat suit until I am no longer inside of this meat suit. What happens after that means nothing to me. Just like before I was born, it means nothing to me. My consciousness might go away. My atoms and all that shit will go back into, the planet, atmosphere. That's right. You're breathing in your ancestors and the dinosaurs. Drinking them too, actually. But anyways, off track. My point here, if I can just get to some sort of point, is that you're responsible, guys, whether you want to hear it or not. If you're someone who goes online and looks for fights, something's wrong with you. You're hurting. Anger, rage, those are umbrella terms as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Underneath them are so many different symptoms and triggers. And above them are the disorders that cause it. But if you're talking to someone and you're triggered and you just go off on them, it's not their fault, dude. It's yours, because you're not taking responsibility for your own actions. We have to carve a place for ourselves out in this world. Every single one of us on this planet does. And it's not very forgiving for people like me, for people like us who have been traumatized, who have survived, who is trying so hard to work and function, heal, and be kind. And be kind because it makes you feel good. Because it makes me feel good. And truly, that's what matters. But don't let other people take advantage of you. There's going to be a lot of steps depending upon where you are in your healing process. And it's something that I'm going to go over. But you have to understand, I'm not a doctor, not a psychologist, psychiatrist, psychotherapist, nurse, nothing like that. I'm a fucking web dev. Okay. But what I do know is what I've been through myself and what I've seen from other people. And I know enough to know that I am responsible for how I behave and for what I say and for what I do. And I know that I am too hard on myself when I sometimes fail at that task. But I learn from it every time. And that's the key, learning. Are you able to learn? Do you want to know who you really are? What is your narrative? Are you willing to recognize that your narrative may change on your journey? Mine has. So has my bio mom's, actually, for me. Life is too fucking short. It's too precious. Whatever happens, happens. Believe what you want. I don't give a fuck, guys, but I would hope that the one thing that we agree on is that life is too short. I know a lot of people think it's too long, but let me tell you something. We have stardust in our veins. We are the universe. We exist when trillions and whatever the highest number is, of potential people did not. Your sperm made it into your egg, and thus you became. And sometimes you may bemoan the fact, as I do, especially when I'm in that dark place. But the thing is, ultimately, I come back to the fact that I am happy that I exist. And I want to fight as hard as I can for the rest of my life to be the person I want to be. Do you know who you want to be? Have you figured that out yet? Do you know what healing means to you? I mean, have you ever really sat down and thought about it? What do you want out of this life, and what would healing mean to you? How do you move forward from trauma and pain? My method is not going to be your method. You know what I mean? But you need to think about these things. You need to recognize these things because it's all real. It's all part of who you are. It's all part of your life. It's all part of my life. Going on 2 weeks, my friends. This is the longest I have been able to fight the darkness. It's the longest I have been able to function. My mother is the one who helped me pull back a little bit because I was so scared that I was going to fall back into the darkness. That all the positive improvements and changes that I've made, even if I'm not feeling it, at least hold on, I forgot where it was. Oh, yeah. So I was afraid I was going back into the darkness, but you have to understand that that's what healing is. It's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Unfortunately for me, it's like up all the way down. And then I go a little bit further up because I learned something. And then I go all the way down and blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to avoid that. And I foolishly thought I'm supposed to be healed by now, which made me even more depressed when yesterday I couldn't get out of bed until 7:30. Keep in mind, I'm up at 3:30. Okay. I'm awake at 3:30, not by choice. And 7:30 is hours of me fighting to get out of bed. But I did. I did. And I fed my cats. I took care of their needs. Brushed my teeth, took care of a few of my needs. Did not shower, though. I don't plan on it today. Did wash my face. But it feels like there's so much to do. I need to make a list because there's just so much to fucking do. But maybe this is a beginning for me. Maybe I'm finally on the other side of this. No, I'm coming on the other side of this breakdown. And look at what wonderful things have come from this. You are valid. Your emotions, your feelings, they're valid. But when you start to hurt other people or try to hurt other people, when you take your frustrations and your sadness and your grief and your anger out on other people, that's when you're no longer valid. At least according to my code. You may have a different one. I think we all have different ones, but what are you going to do? So I'm going to go. And like I said, I'm kind of a newbie at using YouTube. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I will learn about it when I have time, but there are too many things in the way right now. So for that, I will just be this. Listen, I believe in the truth. I believe in showing, I'll tell you a funny story in a minute, but I believe in showing who you are, honestly, because life is too short otherwise. Why the fuck do you want to waste your life pretending to be something you're not? Pretending to be in love with someone you're not? Pretending that you want money, 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 money. Man, have you guys listened to some of this shit out there? One, my childhood is destroyed, okay? What was that song? You want it, what I gotta put it, like, I gotta get it, put it in you. I know I got that lyric wrong, but dude, that is one of the most rapiest songs ever, okay? I used to sing to that when I was a child. Do they even realize how rapey that shit is? Oh, okay. I'm just going to end with this. All right. Try to be kind if you can. Try to understand that you need to be kind to yourself as well as to other people. Unless you're like a sociopath or just a mean person who likes to hurt people, which is, I think, a sociopath. I don't know. Doesn't matter. There are people who need help. And I guess that's kind of why I feel like I'm sort of a joy kill, because I don't see things the way other people do. I look at them more seriously. When I see someone that is unusual, I don't run away from them. I walk up to them and I talk to them on their level, whatever it is. Because I know what it's like to be suffering invisibly. People are so afraid of who's different, who acts different. If somebody, yells, there's a boy that comes to the pool with his mom or caretaker, and sometimes he'll just yell, "Ha!" Like that. Well, I made it, I talk to him as much as you can, but I acknowledge him. But I notice that nobody else does. And that makes me sad because I feel like if we educate ourselves enough, if we open ourselves up enough, someday we will evolve to the point where it doesn't matter what color your hair is, what color your eyes are, what color your skin is, what shape your face is, where you live, where you were born, what religion you may or may not believe in. Guys, seriously, this shit doesn't matter. If you want to have a belief system, believe your system, right? But don't take it out on other people who don't believe in your system, because that means you're insecure in your own system. If you get angry when someone says something that does not fit your expectations, the issue is not with that person. The issue is with you. Why does that make you angry? Why does that make you angry? Why do you want to cause pain? Why do you want to cause hurt? Think about these things. Do you want to heal? Do you want to move forward? Can you accept the responsibility it takes to open Pandora's box? Because I can tell you right now, once that bitch is open, it will not shut again. So you're either all in or you're going to fuck yourself up even more. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Educate people if you can, if it's not awkward, you know. Hell, I do it even when it's awkward. I talk to complete strangers about shit. I want everybody to fucking know that it's okay to be fucked up, that it's normal and human to fucking be fucked up. It's normal to be fucked, man. Most of us are fucked. A lot of us won't admit it. Those are the ones I really feel bad for. But I've learned a lot and I want to share it. Now I am talking and talking and talking, so I'm going to shut the fuck up. End this video with this. If anybody has actually watched this, I want you to know, to remember that you are valid. Your emotions are valid. Your feelings are valid. Your experience is valid. And there's a bunch of us out here who would like to be there for you, to offer support. I hope you go out and do something kind for yourself and for someone else today. Be kind. To yourself, too.